So, how do we help our aging parents stay connected online without falling prey to digital scams? I'm Stephanie Burrows, a seniors real estate specialist here in Greenville, and today we are addressing senior tech safety head on. I am so excited to be joined by Bill Vicary, the founder of Just Call Bill. Now, this is a local company dedicated to helping the upstate seniors navigate technology with total confidence and zero stress. Bill, welcome to our show.
Welcome. Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. So, tell us a little bit about Just Call Bill and what inspired you to specialize in helping upstate seniors and their families.
It's kind of a an accident. If you'd have told me 10 years ago I was going to be doing this, I'd say you're crazy. I am not a technology expert. I'm a degreed engineer, so I have that nerdiness about me, and have used technology throughout my whole career. So about 8 or 9 years ago, an older friend of mine kept coming to me and his wife about, can you help me with this? And he actually gave his old iPhone to her when she previously owned a flip phone. And
Ah,
she said, hey, you have one of those phones. Can you teach me how to use it? Because he's too busy and doesn't have the patience to do so. So they were neighbors. So we would be at their house or they'd be at our house. And I'm showing them whatever. And one morning, they live in Columbia, South Carolina. Um, and we're doing whatever on her phone. And he walks in and says, what are y'all doing? And whatever we were doing, I don't remember. He left, got his phone, and sat down and said, I don't know how to do that. And so, literally, it started as kind of a casual, here's a few little tidbits, nothing sophisticated, but just general navigation. And then he's called me one day and says, he's asking me some technical question over the phone. I said, Mel, I can't answer that because I can't see what you're doing. He couldn't articulate it very well. I said, I'm sure there's somewhere in Columbia that could help you with that, a class or whatever. And a few days later, he called me back. There's nobody here. And he was very colorful with his language. But so, first of all, I didn't know there is no Apple store in Columbia, South Carolina. There's only one in Greenville and Charleston.
okay.
And then secondly, I said, well, go check the community college, a senior center, whatever. And there was nothing.
Really?
So my entrepreneurial brain kicked in and I said, so I started doing some research. Well, in the meantime, he would come to Greenville and take a class at the Apple store. Well, it's in the mall. And if you've ever been there, they're loud, they're bright, they teach right in the store. Um, a person that teaches you doesn't look like most of the people with different color hair and things in their ears and their nose and what have you. And they are speaking a language you don't understand. And he would complain constantly when he would go. And obviously, Apple does a good job, but he was struggling. So, long story short, I did some research around the upstate area, even in the state of South Carolina, and he was right. There was nowhere for a senior to go. So I thought, well, being a good marketing and sales guy, I need some validation in testing. So where do seniors go? Senior centers, senior communities, senior, groups at churches. So at the time, I went to the Malden Senior Center. Now,
Okay.
this is 9 years ago. At that time, the Malden Senior Center was the second largest senior center in the state of South Carolina.
Oh, wow. Wow.
More than 4,000 people a month would go through the front doors of that building. That's a massive amount. The
Yes.
largest one was in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, in Charleston. So I went and talked to the director and I said, hey, I'm doing some research. I'm thinking about this and this and that. I wasn't there 20 minutes. And she said, so you can be here Monday and teach a class. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't because I don't have a class. So long story short, she said, there is a very high demand. I've been looking for somebody like you for years. Continue with what you're thinking. So in my corporate life, I trained technical people how to sell, how to present, how to do things in public. So I thought, well, if I can do that, I can sure as heck figure out. So that's where I led to start. The first class was an iPhone class. The second class was an iPad class because I favor Apple. I think it's just more intuitive. And it really took off. I build a high level of trust with the people in my class because now I'm seeing their phone. I'm seeing pictures of their kids. I know what their passwords are. Oh, here's your email. Well, I don't understand why my email's messed up and I have a bellsouth.net email and so on and so forth. So then they would come to me and ask other questions. Well, what do you know about this Uber thing? I can't remember my passwords. So it literally led to me listening to my target audience and creating educational programs. So now I have over 22 different educational programs in addition to technical classes. So we have iPad, iPhone, and basic laptop computer classes that are hands-on with their equipment. We don't touch it. And then the educational programs are like scams and how to prevent them and how to manage your usernames and your passwords and your digital assets. How do you use your technology for healthcare, so on and so forth. And it's all by listening to the seniors and their families. So a lot of times what's happening, in one of your questions I think I saw was, we have children that live out of state that call me and say, hey, can you help my dad? My dad, mom and dad are having problems with this. So now I become their eyes and ears of mom and dad. There's one gentleman in his 90s, the daughter lives in Texas, and I give the report once a month of how dad's really doing. And it's not really spying, but I get it because I was one of those children that my dad was 800 miles away and never could really get a true snapshot of what was going on. So, but trying to keep them safe. The motto of my company is I want you to learn your technology more confidently, effectively, and safely. Because if you don't know how to do the first two, then you're not going to be safe and something bad's going to happen, most likely a scam.
Wow, well, that was a great answer.
Thanks. Maybe longer than you wanted, but
No, no, no. I love it because I did not realize you had that many programs that you
yeah,
offer. I was not aware of that. So that is
yeah.
great. Um, so let's talk security. We hear so much in the news today about sophisticated online scams, phishing emails, fake tech support, pop-ups targeting older adults. What are the top two or three red flags that every senior should look for? And what should they do immediately if they think their computer or phone has been compromised?
Yeah, that's a great question. This problem is so bad. First of all, most of seniors don't think this is ever going to happen to them. So that's the first big problem. Well, I got an MBA, I have a PhD, I used to work in IT 25 years ago, and this will never happen to me. I'm too smart. Well, the scammers have gotten to be very, very smart. So the first thing I recommend is they take the time to put their contacts in their phone. Every phone, Android, Flip, or Apple, put them in your phone. First name, last name, no nicknames, not Skeeter. Everybody knows my husband's name is Skeeter. Um, you have to put the area code in because you can't make a phone call without an area code anymore. And again, I call that the contacts in your phone are like your old Rolodex. They're now a digital Rolodex in your phone. Why is that so important? So once you put them in, your family, your friends, doctors, lawyers, financial planner, realtor, tech support, all those important people, is because then when the phone rings or a text message comes in, you know who it's from. If Stephanie texts me, I see it's Stephanie calling or Stephanie texting. So the rule one is no name, no answer. Don't answer the
I
phone
like that.
unless you know who it is. period. Don't answer a text unless you know who it is. Well, how do I know who it is? I put the contacts in. And so I call them the yeah buts. Yeah, but what if it's the doctor? Yeah, but what if it's important, they're going to leave a message.
Valid.
And so the biggest one is doctors. Well, yeah, but I don't want to miss the test results or they're going to call and tell me this. Then I said, the next time you go to the doctor, tell the nice person at the front desk, I don't answer the phone unless I know who it is. Can you give me all of the numbers you're going to call from? And most of them go, and I'm like, well, this is going to help you. And they
Right.
look at it as, well, I don't have time. Well, they're all retired. They got lots of time. And so part of that is take all of those numbers and let's just say it's Dr. Thompson. You can put all five numbers in the contact for Dr. Thompson. So whenever Dr. Thompson calls or texts, you know who it is. The other rule is don't click on anything in a text message or an email. Well, it looks like Bank of America or it looks like FedEx. It's not. The rule of thumb is if it sounds too good to be true, it's not true. I always say we got enough gray hair and years of experience to say, look, it's not worth it. Oh, well, I've won a prize. Well, you can't win a prize if you didn't buy the ticket. And so I try to logically kind of walk through, and this is part of my scam class, but is really another way you can tell in an email is go up to the inbound email address and literally touch on the um, the inbound address, and it will show you who it is. Well, it's jiggity boggity boogity at yahoo.com, and they're claiming to be Bank of America, and they're not. So what I say is it's really a matter of changing your habits, your discipline, because many people are very connected, young and old, but you just got to kind of take a breath and count to 10 and go, that just doesn't sound right. In one of my classes, I use a text message example, and this is one that was sent to me, and it
Okay.
says in the text message, "Hi, Olivia." Well, my name's not Olivia. I'm never going to be Olivia. And it was claiming to be from Amazon. Well, Amazon is now confirming your FedEx delivery for your package. FedEx isn't used for Amazon, but they don't know that. Click
Right.
here to confirm your delivery or expedite a faster delivery. Well, when you buy anything online anywhere, I don't care if it's Walmart, Wayfair, Amazon, you know how much you paid, how you paid for it, and when it's going to be delivered.
Correct.
So why would you need something like that? Do you want your yellow flip-flops to come a day earlier and pay another $9 that you paid six for the flip-flops? So again, I'm kind of being facetious, but I'm trying to rattle them enough to go, huh, what that just doesn't make sense. Another I don't know, so from a security standpoint, it's
Hmm.
I'm just looking here, email, that those are the biggest things. It's not real hard. So I tell people I can help you never be phone scammed if you just don't answer the phone unless you know who it is. Now, the bad guys will leave voicemails and they'll make them sound real, but then listen to it and go, listen for, like, especially in a text message or an email, look at the sentence, how it's worded, not the grammar and the punctuation, because nobody's that good at that. But it's probably worded weird. The verbs after the noun, there's misspelling, because these people could be down the street from you or on the other side of the world. And so part of that is you just have to be overly conscious about phone calls, text messages, and emails.
Wow. So much.
There is.
So, someone who's going to transition homes, they might have been in their home for a very long time. They're getting ready to right size or move to a community. So you come in and you can help them, and they have all of this old stuff sitting there. Can you help them wipe their private data and transfer their digital life so they can get rid of all the clutter and the noise to their next home?
Um, yes, but so
What?
part of it is, and this is your world, here we've been in this 3,500 square foot. Now they're going to move to 1,200 or less. Okay,
Right.
so all of the stuff can't go. So that's obviously a transition point. But from the technology standpoint, we've been in houses where there's husbands and wives or widow or widowers left behind. Like one lady, we went to her house, her husband died, and there was a dining room table full of technology. There
Mm,
was three tablets and 10 phones and a desktop and just numerous things and lots of cords and adapters and plugs and whatever. And she goes, I don't know what to do. I said, is so part of it is we can go through that with them. So that's like old stuff. But okay, here's the computer at our house that we use, and we're pretty tech savvy, and now we're moving to the new house. Well, keep that one. That one's good. Now you might need help setting up the email on the internet and the printer and that kind of stuff, but it's what do you do with the old stuff? So yes, there are ways you can wipe them. We never just randomly wipe like that lady with all the stuff. Well, just throw it away. Well, what did these, we go through a conversation with them. What were these used for? Well, the phones were pretty worthless. Most of them didn't work, but what's on these five tablets? Are there any pictures? Are there any important information? Now, mind you, can we get them to work? Do you have the right plug? Does the battery work? Um, okay, she went from six computers to one. So we literally went through all the computers that could work. And if we couldn't work them, then we actually would remove the hard drive and destroy it.
destroy it.
And but try to get the important information. But again, it's kind of like what we talked earlier. So, well, let's just say it's the man that passed away. Well, he was the tech guy in the house. He had all these gadgets and gizmos, and she never knew what was what. And the biggest thing is, well, there's 10,000 pictures on his laptop. Well, are those pictures anywhere else? Are there, 10,000 pictures is a lot of pictures. Well, I
Right.
don't want to lose pictures, of our kids when they were young. And so then where do you put them? Well, let's maybe put them on a remote hard drive. Maybe we put them on a DVD. Maybe, but let's just not put them on a thumb drive or leave them there. And then your kids don't even know where they are. So there's a whole process we would go through with them to one, save it or delete it or wipe it.
Oh my gosh. You are truly amazing and patient and wow. Because people don't think about that, you know?
No, they don't. And then all of a sudden, again, that as you and I were talking before, that catastrophic event occurs. Well, I don't know where it is, or he never told me, or she didn't, I don't know the password to get in to pay the bills, or so again, I say all the time, what's your plan? What's your proactive plan? When a life incident happens, sickness, accident, or death, how will you take care of yourself when you can't take care of yourself? So, and that's just not technology, that's anything.
Okay. You're right. You're right. It's all tied together.
It
And
is. It
a
is.
lot of people don't think of your piece of it as being part of aging in place.
Right, right. And so it's interesting that I get it. My dad was this way. I'm staying in my home. You're taking me out of here in a box. This is my sanctuary, my kingdom, whatever word you want. I get it. And most people don't like to change, but put that proactive plan to age in place, as we said earlier, because then you'll be able to live your life better the way you want to live it. Not, oh, well, I can't do that because I can't do that till my kids visit. Well, when are they coming? Thanksgiving. That's 2.5 months away.
Right.
And you might need something yesterday. And so we want to be that resource. And like you and I have talked through the years, Well, they may ask me about something I don't do, but like you, I got a team of people that I know, like, and trust that would say, hey, you should call so and so. I would have my mother work with them if she was still around, because what I don't want them is to Google it. I don't want them going online because the scammers lie in wait. And if you're not tech savvy enough, you're not going to know if you're dealing with somebody, reputable or not.
Wow. Okay. So we talked a little bit about you helping families of seniors who might not be in the area. Um, how do you help them navigate smart home technology, internet bills, or TV streaming if they're in another state? How do you help them have peace and the senior not have to struggle?
It's a fine line. So first of all, what's the relationship and the dynamic with the kids and the parents? Um, Most parents will say, I don't want to bother my children. They're too
Right.
busy. They got their family, they have their jobs, and whether they live down the street or on the other side of the country. Um, so many times we'll get calls from the senior, don't tell my kids. And it's like, well, I don't know them, so how am I going to tell them? So usually how this works with the kids being involved is the kids call me first,
Okay.
either from out of town or in town, to say, look, I've tried to help my mom with her phone and she just is not getting it. And I don't have the patience. And I got a husband and two kids and a job. And can you help? I'm like, yeah, that's what we do all the time. And so it's really no two are the same. Um, like paying bills and stuff. Well, some of them are, I'm never paying my bills online. I'm going to write a check. I kind of go through and explain, well, maybe you don't have to write a check, but at least you should be checking the balance of your account to make sure nothing unusual or bad is going on. Um, TV streaming, it's not for everybody. Everybody, it's the picture that seniors get from their children, their family, and their friends. Oh, you should get Netflix. I'm watching this series on Hulu. Or, well, what's that? Well, they have a hard time navigating the cable box that has numbers on the remote control. Now you're going to go to streaming and there's no numbers on the remote control, and you have to know how to navigate the remote control on the TV. Well, but it's cheaper. It might be, but are you tech savvy enough to know how to navigate from the cable box to the streaming service and then back? We've taught people, we've set them up, we've even written down directions with pictures. Press this button first, press this button second, so on and so forth. But a lot of things, like when I tell people in the scam class, I said, so if you have a phone, a computer, a tablet, or a television, smart television connected to the internet, you can be scammed. So how tech savvy are you? All of those streaming services have a credit card attached to them. Did Hulu contact you? Did Amazon contact you? 9 out of 10 times, those people are never calling you unless you didn't pay.
Right.
So part of that is, again, the dynamic of some kids will help and then we'll augment with the kids. And then sometimes it's just us on our own that, or we're there to help with something else. And then we start asking some questions because we could see they're struggling and they're going, oh, yeah, can you help with that? Sure. And then we go in to find out
Oh,
whatever kind of help they need.
that's very cool. All right. If you could give every senior in the upstate just one simple habits change today to keep their personal information, devices, and passwords safe, what would that be?
Know and document your passwords and usernames, period. Well, how do you do that? Well, there are many ways to do that, but I would say 8 out of 10 people we work with do not document, do not know what they are. We even had one lady, well, every time it tells me my password and I don't know, I just change it. Well, so think about this. So one, if you had them documented either on paper and or digitally somewhere, one, it helps you remember because nobody can remember them all. I don't care how old you are.
Right.
But two, that life incident, sickness, accident, or death, this is a true story. And one of the reasons why I started what I'm doing with the education is I had a lady call. My husband died recently. He was the tech guy in my house, and all the usernames and passwords were in his head. I can't get in the bank account. I
Oh,
can't get in the retirement fund. I can't get into any money to plan and pay for my husband's funeral.
oh my
Can you
God.
help? So this poor woman, and like many others, she couldn't even grieve for her husband because she was worried about accessing money to pay for the funeral, but also just to live. Long story short, we helped her. But after that, I left there going, well, why did this should never happen to anyone? So part of it is knowing and having your usernames and passwords and then telling somebody where they are. So whether that's your spouse, your children, I recommend you actually put them in. So a lot of people that maybe have a digital vault or some website they keep them on. Well, does anybody else know where they are? No. Well, or I got them stored on an Excel spreadsheet on my computer. Okay. Would it be easy for somebody you know, like, and trust to find them? And there's a long pause. No, because they store them under a fake name, could be like grandma's recipes or something totally irrelevant because they're doing the secret search, squirrel spy. I'm going to hide it. And so it's useless. I have it in the safe. I was in a class and the man said that out loud, and his wife sitting next to him says, "We have a safe." So part of this is one, documenting usernames and passwords and then telling that person you trust, hopefully power of attorney, because especially power of attorney, that should be local. And I don't want to go down the legal rabbit hole, but it relates directly to technology. And I'll tell you a quick story. So a lady that I'm working with right now, the daughter of a mother and father, she said, "Bill, I think they're being scammed." So she couldn't get any information out of the mother and father, but suspected money was being taken in large amounts from the bank. She went to the bank. The bank official said, "There's probably something going on, but I can't talk to you because you're not the power of attorney." The mother and father lied to everyone they knew, children, family members, church
Oh,
members, neighbors. Um, Fast forward, they lost $1.2 million.
oh my word.
And so part of it is the daughter suspected something, but mom and dad didn't have the legal entities set up for someone to intervene, i.e., the daughter. Um, this is right here in Simpsonville. We're helping the family try to undo things. There's a team of 10 or 12 people that are involved, legally, financially, uh, from law enforcement, the local sheriff, the FBI, and Secret Service are involved because cryptocurrency. So I didn't want to go off that topic, but it all comes back to usernames, passwords, keeping safe, because even once now so if something bad happens, power of attorney gives you, boom, right away I can start. Then secondly, username and password, I can begin to access and or change if something bad starts to go down. But if you don't know that, then you're going to ex 10 times worse off in trying to figure things out.
And what is the likelihood that you guys are going to be able to collect or get money back for them?
Oh, none. And
None.
it's not us. I mean, that's law enforcement is involved. We're helping. There's another lady we're working with. She lost $380,000. And part of it is the scams. The short story there is We have a lady, this might help explain. She kept telling us she's been hacked. I've been hacked. I said, were you hacked or were you scammed? I've been hacked. I said, well, let me explain the difference. So hacking is an unwanted visitor breaking into, let's say, a database. Could be at a bank or a church, or they came into the server and got email addresses or social security addresses, usually from an institution or a business. A scam is you welcome them in. You, the user of your technology, phone, tablet, or computer, said, okay, clicked on this, went to the bank, and gave them money willingly. Now, they might have threatened you, they might have tried to blackmail you, but you did it.
Oh,
Where the hack is you unwillingly didn't know some bad guy came in and stole whatever. So the scam part, I do a lot of education on that. Um, but part of that, it all comes, well, I gave him my password for my bank account. Are you kidding me?
oh
Why
my
would
God.
why would you a complete stranger you've never met? Now, well, it's the guy's from Bank of America, and he told me my bank account's been compromised, and I need to have the account number. Well, if they're really from the bank, why don't they know it? I
Right.
could I could go on and
Oh,
on.
oh my gosh. It just breaks my heart because sometimes that's all the money they have in the world.
Oh, absolutely. That lady that lost 380, she said, I'm going to have to go back to work at 70 years old. I don't have enough money now to retire.
Oh, God bless them. Oh my gosh.
But
Well,
those
that's
people that
weird.
lost 1.2 lost their house, cars, money, credit cards. And so that's why this team of people is trying to see if we can undo some things. Some will be able to be undone and some will not. But yeah, it's very sad.
So they're basically bankrupt.
Yeah, and that they were considering doing that. And there's the financial team and the legal teams are working with them to figure out, the right way to handle that.
Oh my gosh. This just really cements my belief in your part. And it's not just seniors,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
everybody, everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. When I say when in doubt, be skeptical.
I like that. I like that. So if someone watching, either whether they're part of the sandwich generation, taking care of parents from a distance, or a senior, and they need help setting up a device, or they just want to trust and get in touch with you and your team.
Yeah. So the name of my company is Just Call Bill, and it's literally just call 864-621-0224. I answer the phone unless I'm with a client. I'm on social media with Facebook and LinkedIn at Just Call Bill. And then I'm also have a website, justcallbill.net, and it kind of walks you through. I will be updating the calendar of events next month. And, so there'll be different classes around the area that people can attend. Some are free, some you have to pay for. But yeah, we'd love to help, people that, whether it's in-home setting stuff up or with their email or just, using your technology more confidently, effectively, and safely.
Bill, this has been great. It's been so practical. It just shows me that tech doesn't have to be so overwhelming when you have the right local team in your corner. So be sure to check the description box below for direct links to Just Call Bill. And I'm Stephanie Burrows. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. Stay safe out there and have a wonderful day. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.